I will teach you Arthur Rimbaud's war poem, Asleep in the Valley. But before I am going to teach this poem, I want to give you a message that most of the teachers who are taking these digital classes, their aim, their objective is very holy. They actually want to discourage private tuition. You need not go to the private tutor. This is the main objective. So, students carefully listen to what the teachers are teaching. Give your queries in the comment box. And if you have any questions or doubts, try to contact the teacher, but avoid private tuitions. Remember these things. This is the main objective of these digital classes. Now, come to the point. Today I will teach you this poem, Asleep in the Valley. The poem is written by the French poet Jean-Nicolas Arthur Rimbaud, who was born in 1854 and died in 1891, only 37 years old, at the age of only 37 years. It's a war poem. Though it does not belong to the interwar poetry, which was written in during 1914 to 1916 or 18, it anticipates war poetry, anti-war poetry especially. The vein of the poem is anti-war. The title conjures Asleep in the Valley. The title conjures a pastoral bliss. In the valley where a man can enjoy fragrance or deep sleep after a day's toil. But we will see that the reference to the two red holes only destroys the pastoral bliss and creates an infernal atmosphere. The valley which stands for paradise turns into an inferno. And it is a man-made inferno because war is fomented and created by man. This is all about the poem. Arthur Rimbaud, French poet, he was a great poet in the sense he contributed a lot in the modernist movements like symbolism, surrealism and Dadaism. His influence was felt, or even today we felt in the poems of Dylan Thomas, in the songs of Bob Dylan, in the painting of Pablo Picasso, in the music of Jim Morrison, and the poetry of Dylan Thomas and Allen Ginsberg. Rimbaud was the master of technique. He was one of the first poets to write in free verse. In the later classes we'll discuss the difference between free verse and blank verse and the very technical sides, which are not very essential for the examination as such. But Asleep in the poem is a sonnet. Now, you need to have an idea about the sonnet. A sonnet is a 14-line poem written in iambic pentameter. The Italian poet Petrarch was the inventor of sonnet, and later the sonnet was imported from Italy by White and Surrey in the Elizabethan age, most probably in 1557 in Tottle's Miscellany. And Petrarchan sonnet, the structure of the Petrarchan sonnet is very important. You need to remember it. The first section, consisting of 8 lines, is called octave, where the main idea or the poet's the main theme of the poem is illustrated. It is the tidal wave, and the next 6 lines, the last section of the concluding part, consisting of 6 lines, is called sestet. It is the ebb. The first part is called tide, the last part is called ebb. This sonnet, which we are going to read, is a Petrarchan sonnet. Though the structure, you will see in the format looks different, but it is basically a Petrarchan sonnet. There are other, there is an important sonnet structure. There is called Shakespearean sonnet, which we will discuss later. In this Petrarchan sonnet, word sonnet, the poet, in the first, he divided the poem 4, 4, 3 and 3 in this structure, in this pattern. Now we'll read the rhyme scheme. You need to remember in this connection the rhyme scheme of the poem. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E, G, G, H, I, J. This is the rhyme scheme of the poem. About Rimbaud, the critic Cecil Arthur Hackett wrote that his genius, its flowering, explosion and sudden extinction still astonishes. It's a short-lived poet. He didn't live long. He died at the age of only 37. So the title of the poem is ironical. Asleep in the valley, the tranquility of the atmosphere, the apparent tranquility of the atmosphere will be in peril when we will come across the 2 bullet wounds at the side of the young soldiers, which brings out the brutality, the animality, the barbarity of war. In Saint John Arvin's sonnet play, Progress, war is called an organized butchery of boys. War creates nothing but destroys everything. This is the motto of war. It creates nothing but destroys everything. Now, this is actually the foreground. Before I'm going to explain the poem, you need some foregrounding. Now the poem, come to the poem. A small green valley where a slow stream flows. A small green valley where a slow stream flows. One thing you need to remember, that is the excessive use of the words "sir." It's a sibilant. This sibilant "sir" in small, slow, stream, this sibilant sound forebodes, appears to forebode an omen that this paradise, this heavenly valley will be soon viewed as a hell, and leaves long strands of silver on the bride. In the second line, we see the repetition of sounds or the use of the sounds lateral law, leaves long strands of silver. So the stream looks like a silvery strand. Right from the beginning, the picture looks bright and coruscating. Grass, bright grass, even the grass appears bright. From the mountain stream, the sun's rays. From the mountain streams the sun rays. The word stream clearly suggests that the sun rays is actually compared to rain. That's why the mountains stream the sun rays. It is the streaming of sun rays. Mountains stream the sun's rays. They feel the hollow full of light. The valley appears to be a hollow, and the sunlight fills this hollow with its brightness. In the first section, we see the images of brightness and movement. Images of brightness, movement and height. The flowing stream, this is the movement. Sublimity or the height is the mountain top, and brightness the sun rays. So the first 4 lines of the sonnet unfold these 3 imageries, or bring into focus these 3 imageries. That is the imageries of light, imagery of light, imagery of height or sublimity, and brightness and movement. In the second section, come to the second section. A soldier. In the first section, that is, the readers are not prepared that the poem will deal with soldier or war. It appears to be the poem appears to be a pure description of nature. But in the next 4 lines, at least the beginning, a soldier turns the tune of the poem. A soldier, very young, lies open-mouthed. This open-mouthed soldier looks ominous. A pillow made of fern beneath his head. Close association with nature. The fern beneath his head serves as a pillow. Close association or relation between man and nature. But the young man or the young soldier who lies agape and asleep, stretched in the heavy undergrowth, is covered with bushes and trees, grasses, pale in his warm, green, sun-soaked bed. The poem is full of binaries or contrasts. See one thing, that the soldier looks young, warm, but at the same time he looks pale. The valley is green, but the stream leaves us long strands. Then the bed is sun-soaked, but the young soldier looks pale. This contrast seems to highlight the precarious condition of the soldier who is lying in the valley. In the first section, we get the idyllic description of the valley washed in dazzling sunlight. And in the second section, the poet's glance is riveted to the young soldier, his gesture. The body of the young soldier lies lying in the grass or in the valley which lies in the lush green grass which pulsates with life, or which is pulsating with or vibrating with life. The humming, we will discuss it later, that there will be references to humming insects and others. But through this octet, in the first part of the octet, the poet gives an idyllic description, a pleasant description of nature. And I told you earlier that there are three types of imageries: imageries of light, imagery of movement, and height. But in the next, the reference to soldier gives a twist to the nature poem, which the initial stanza or the description of the initial stanza gives us a glimpse of nature, bright nature. But this view of nature receives a jolt when we come across a soldier lying open-mouthed in the valley, and his gesture looks ominous in the sense that he was open-mouthed, and that the contrasts, warmth and paleness, again is indicative of the imminent forebodings for which we need to prepare. So, this is I'm now only I'm discussing this, or rather I have discussed these two stanzas of the octet to drive the idea into your brain that it's a war poem. But although it's a war poem, the beginning looks like a nature poem, and we also told you about the poet, his influence, his mastery over previous and others, etc. This is all about the day. Now I am going to introduce you about this paper. Look at the chart. That Asleep in the Valley, Arthur Rimbaud, who was born in 1854 and died in 91. He was a French poet, and he influenced modernist movements such as symbolism, surrealism, surrealism, and Dadaism. I also give you the rhyme scheme in this that in this rhyme scheme: A B C B D E F E G G H I I G. One point I forgot to mention in this connection, that Arthur Rimbaud himself took part in the war, just like Wilfred Owen and Sigurd Sasso during 1914 and 18, when war poetry was, most of the war poetry was written. As Wilfred Owen was the most outstanding war poets in English literature. But Arthur Rimbaud's poem anticipates the anti-war attitude reflected in Wilfred Owen's poem, like Strange Meeting, Futility, Send Off, Spring Offensive, etc. There are many poems. In most of the poems, remember one thing, that Owen was also killed in the war, and Arthur Rimbaud was he was a soldier in the Dutch colonial army in 1876, and the poem was perhaps written in the background of Franco-Prussian War in 1870 or 1876. Surrounding this period, the poem was written, and that's why we get the picture of war in this poem. There are certain vocabularies: strands of silver. Strands means ear, duri, lamba, sutor, ফিতের মতো পড়ে আছে। Open mouthed, again, হাঁ হওয়া। Stretched, সুবিস্তৃত, extended. Undergrowth, grasses and shrubs that grow in plenty. প্রচুর পরিমাণে ঘাস চারপাশে, ঝোপঝাড়, সেইটার কথা বলা হয়েছে এখানে। Pale means colorless, বিবর্ণ। Heavy, dense. Sun-soaked means sun-baked, সূর্যস্নাত. Even his bed was sun-soaked. Warmth comes from the sun, and the sun is symbolic of light. Not only the sun is symbolic of warmth and life. But we will see that is an ironical juxtaposition, that a dead body is sun-soaked. There is an opposition between the sun and the dead body of a young soldier, which is cool. The sun will not be able, even nature will not be able to rejuvenate the dead soldier. This idea may be in the mind of the poet at the time of writing or giving these images. Thank you very much for being with me. This for the day. Let us call it a day now. And if you have any questions or queries, give it in the comment box. I shall try my level best to satisfy your curiosity and your interrogations. Thank you.